Okay, I think we're live. I think that's working. I said that twice. I don't know why I said that twice. I'm just going to check that it is actually working. Just going to visit my own link. Yeah, it's a wee bit behind. There we go. Yeah, it's definitely me. Right, so what I wanted to do at this point was just some straightforward, simple Python stuff. And actually, it's not even really going to be any programming. It's actually a project that I think, I want to say it was 3 years ago. Let me have a look. I want to say it was about 3 years ago. Let's just pull this over here. There we go. It's this one here. Yeah, about 3 years ago. So ngdb.py. So this is a library I wrote for reading Norton Guide database files. Anyone who's any younger than me probably won't actually know what a Norton Guide database is, but it was kind of hypertext help from back in the 1980s or whatever. It was quite popular in certain DOS circles. It was super popular with anyone who ever programmed with what was Nantucket Clipper and what became Computer Associates or CA Clipper. Because with Clipper 5 going forwards, a lot of the help was packaged in and distributed as Norton Guide files. And you had a Norton Guide reader, which was what you call a TSR, a Terminate and Stay Resident program. So back in the DOS days, before we had proper multitasking and things like that, it was a thing that you would be running, or rather, be sat in the background, and you'd hit a key combination and it would pull the program to the foreground and that kind of thing. And you could read the help and everything. So there's a lot of files that are probably only really that interesting from a sort of retro computing point of view, I guess, that people might still want to have access to or peruse or read or whatever. So back in, when was it? Was it I think it was sort of the late 1990s, whatever. I wrote my first Norton Guide tool, which was a thing called ng to HTML, which was a little C program. I think I've actually got it here somewhere. Oh no, I meant to go there. It's a god awful. Hang on, looking in the wrong place. Yeah, here we go. So this was just like a honking great big bit of C that I first wrote on my Linux box. When did I? 1996 was the initial version. That read through a Norton Guide file, spat it out as HTML, which meant you could serve it as a as a website if you wanted. I then did a thing called W3NG, which was basically this code, but was designed to be used as a CGI bin application. And if you don't know what CGI bin is, you're doing okay, don't worry. And yeah, and then I did was it before or after that? I did a Windows-based Norton Guide reader in Delphi, which actually proved really popular because people were still developing Clipper applications, in some cases actually Clipper applications for Windows, and they wanted a Windows-based Norton Guide reader, and I wrote one that it was quite popular. I gave it away for free, all that kind of stuff. It was, in fact, I think I still have it kicking about in my repos. Is it? Yes, here we go. So I released it as free software under the GPL and everything. The core of it was a library for reading Norton Guide files. I'm just trying to... it's probably the main one. It's all Pascal, all Delphi code, all that kind of stuff. And it was kind of popular and things like that. Over the years, I've written Norton Guide readers in C and in Delphi and in kind of a little bit in C++, I think, and also in Emacs Lisp, because why not? So I actually made a Norton Guide reader for Emacs, so you can read Norton Guide files in Emacs and all this kind of stuff. But I realised, like 3 years ago or so, a little bit more than that, that I'd never done a library for reading them in Python. And so I started doing it. And this ties in some small way with me looking at textual, because I was vaguely aware of the fact that rich was the thing that existed. And I thought, oh, maybe I could write this library as the core of things, and then use, say, something like Rich or whatever to do a terminal-based Norton Guide reader. It wouldn't be the first terminal-based one I'd done. I wrote one for OS2 way back in the day that ran in OS2's terminal. I did one for Linux systems as well. Called I don't think I've even got it actually installed on here, but there's I wrote one called Expert Help, which was a play on name of a couple of different readers for Norton Guide files, and that ran in terminal, but it's terrible. I did it using slang or slang rather than ncursors, which is a great library for doing terminal based stuff, but I only really used like fixed size terminals and things, so I didn't give any thought to what would happen when you'd resize them and all this kind of stuff. And so yeah, you resize a terminal while reading a Norton Guide file, and it's chaos. It's not great. So yeah, I kind of thought, okay, I'll write this library for reading Norton Guide files, and then use something like Rich or whatever. Or I saw that there was this textual thing. So that's when I sort of started paying attention to Rich and textual as was. I realised very quickly that textual was nowhere near being in a state of being useful to me in terms of what I wanted to do with this. And I, kind of decided, well, I'll keep an eye on it and stuff like that. And, maybe I can try using it and make some changes and, help that project in some way, shape or form. And then life took a slightly different turn, and I ended up actually working at Textualize and never got round to actually writing this application that I first was thinking about like 3 years ago. So I'd kind of like to revive it, in so much as the library's fine, it works, it's out there, it's been on the Python package index for ages. But as has happened in this time, the way I manage and package Python libraries and all this kind of stuff has drifted a little bit. I accept that black is a thing now that's worth doing, and so on and so forth. Just 1 second, I just need to realise I didn't go into do not disturb mode. There we go, just quieten some things. I think things like using black and all this kind of stuff and everything. And there's one or two other tools that I used to use. So I just want to actually tidy up the library. Not really going to do anything on it in code. I'm just going to do the usual thing of essentially repackage the library, get it ready for actually doing some changes. So it's going to be just dragging the make file forward in time. I was going to say actually change it so it only really worked with Python 3.8 and above, but I noticed it already does anyway. I think it was already a case of I don't care about your Python 3.7 even back 3 years ago. So that's great. I can see that Python 3.8, 3.9 and 3.10, so no 11 and 12. So we'll probably change it up for that. So we're all good. I've got it installed. All my unit tests pass and stuff like that, so that's great. So I suppose the first thing I want to do is let's have a look at the make file. I should probably up the font size. I can't remember how to do that in Emacs. There we go. Because I probably make it a little bit more readable for people. So let's have a look. I got vermin in there. I don't need vermin anymore. Let's up that. you. Is there anything else I'm using? What the hell's pi reverse? Something I don't use, apparently. It's probably a copy. It's probably just a case of I copied that from a... get rid of that. From some other project at some point. I probably copied the makefile over. Right, we'll lose vermin. Don't care about that sort of stuff anymore. Right, I did start mucking about with the docs, so I'll have to have a look at that at some point. Using Twine, I probably, yeah, I'll want to redo the packaging and things. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, is oops. Oh my god. Can't type. Really can't type. We'll just make an old one for a moment and copy up more current makefile. Oops. Right, okay. Kind of don't need this run thing in that there isn't a run for it. I'll tidy that up in a minute. Don't need it. Textual dev tools. Actually, I don't need debug at all. There's not going to be a console because it's not a textual application. Okay. Right, test. Want coverage as well. Stick that down there. Oop. Oh, what happened there? Okay. No, didn't copy the test target over, did I? Move those over. Yay, okay. Right, I think that's a slightly tidied up thing. Next thing is I probably want to install Build and Black. There we go. I want pre-commit and black in. Take a wee while. I just realised I didn't. Okay, so the last 10 minutes I've been coding away and forgot to actually switch to switch screens. Well, that shows that no one was really paying attention. Mostly me. I've been talking about things on the screen and they're not there. Lesson learned. Right. What was it doing? Oh, I need to copy over. Oh, there we go. Probably looks about right. Set things up. Pre-commits installed. We are good to go. Right. Next thing I'm going to do is, this should be interesting. Yay! Okay, so all the code in this library will have been using the sort of layout that I used to use. So we'll kind of tidy that up a wee bit now. Looks okay. Looking okay. There's going to be a lot of things I'm going to want to go through and tidy up and stuff like that. I swapped over, it's about 2 years ago I think it was, I changed the doc strings over to that more, is this the Google style? I think this is Google style, isn't it? But I still have the types in, and that's kind of not really necessary anymore. So I'll go through and tidy up, probably not in this session, but I'm going to go through and tidy up the doc strings and make them make a bit more sense. Just having a look through to make sure it hasn't messed anything up. What was, oh, I was like, why is that empty? It's a pie type thing. Right, all looking good there, all looking good there. Cool, right. So what happens if I do yeah, that's what I wanted. Right. Is it just build? It is. Cool, that passed as well, which is nice. Okay. I realise it's packaging the tests. Is that just in the source? I'll have to check that. Maybe I do want the tests packaged anyway. Might think about that one. So just linting it and type checking it. I'll also add unit tests to the check all as well. Cool. Just do that again. Yes, there we go. All tests passed and things. I think we're good. I think we're good. Oh, get rid of that, don't I? I think that is how would you move those there? One there. I think that's iSort doing its thing. iSort being weird. Okay, I think we're good. Try to stage those, try and commit again. There we go. And the most inoffensive. Right, there we go. I think that was a bit quicker than I was expecting. That was a bit quicker than I was expecting it to be. In which case, what time is it? 6ish. I'm going to go through and tidy up some of these doc strings as I go. Basically just get rid of the types. This is mostly just going to be me staring at my screen and deleting things. Yeah, we're good there. This was an iteration we went through with the documentation for textual. Was we were using this sort of Google style docstring approach, but for quite a while actually was we were making a point of putting the types in, like this kind of thing here, and made sense. But I think it was like, I don't know if there was a change in MK docstrings or something like that, or like one of us actually read the manual at some point or something like that, and it suddenly became, we suddenly realised that it didn't make sense to leave the types in. So like here you would leave the type in because you're saying what actual exception gets raised. But when it's like what the types of the arguments and the return type and everything, that's already it's already documented up here. That's fine. I just realised as well, there is. No, that's not going to return self, is it? But there's little improvements I can make in here now to some of the typing, given that I've left behind 3.7 and things like that. So the code is going to need a little bit of love at some point in the future, where I can probably go over it and just improve some bits and bobs that I can lean on more, slightly more modern ways of doing things in Python. Still can't believe I was going for like 10 minutes and forgot to swap over to show my actual coding screen. What an idiot. Okay, it's going to take a wee while. Not the most interesting thing to do on a stream, but then coding streams, it's more a case of giving you an excuse to talk to yourself while you're coding, and maybe someone will turn up and you'll have a wee chat with each other. Right. Okay. Yeah, I did do I did sort of do the non-dependent version of the rich. What would you call it? Console protocol. So yeah, if you try and print parts of the if you try and print some of the types, some of the objects in this library when you're doing stuff and rich is at play, you will get richer versions, but the library is in no way dependent on rich. It's one of the things I like about rich is the fact that you can do that. It supports that. Okay. probably have written a little tool to do this. But it's sort of therapeutic in a way. Should probably turn that into a do that. Oops. Kind of note. Okay. See, there's a few instances there where it does return self. I can lean into that. I might do that in a moment, actually. Go through and tidy up the doc strings first, though, rather than go off on some side quest. Is unrelated to what I was planning on doing at this very moment. I think some of these modules are a bit smaller, so I should get through them a bit quicker. So yeah, one of the things I actually do want to do is I want to get round to actually using this library as the core of an actual terminal-based non-guide reader that's built with textual. That's my plan. Yeah, this is the thing I was thinking of doing well over 2 years ago. That was the idea. It deserves to actually finally be done. Okay. Doubtless there's going to be one or two that I miss. Why is there no doc string for that? Looks correct, right? Yeah, that one doesn't have one over. Oh, I think I was, yes, I think I was relying on the fact that it would inherit the doc string. I think that is a thing that NK doc strings will do, or can do. We'll look at that at some point. I feel that note should come after the argument list. Oh, don't delete all that. Okay. Get in there, get in there, get in there. Almost there. Turn this into a proper note. Spin out. Another example of where it's returning self. I can swap over to that. Oops. Been smoother. Stuff like this kind of repetitive thing always feels a bit like playing a game. Just letting your fingers dance. Okay, almost there, almost there, almost there. Yay, okay, we're done. I just realised there's one thing I do want to change. This is still using setup.py. Oh yeah, I wanted to add the other Pythons as well, didn't I? That was the other thing. Okay. Let's just, while it's fresh in my mind, who was returning self? Looking for anywhere where self gets mentioned in docstring. I don't think it actually gets used anywhere in the. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in an entry that returns self. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for. Right, so this is going to be. They got moved. Right, who's returning self? You are. So I think we could just do this. Just scanning that for anything that looks like self inside a doc string. Again, what this one does, I think. Yeah, there we go. Is that it? I think that's it. Looks like it. Let's check that we haven't broken it. Yay, passes. Cool. Okay, I think that's working. So the next thing is I wanted to swap from using that, didn't I? It's probably a good plan. Probably a good plan. Do I want to do that now? Do I want to do that now? Do I want to take the time to do that now? Yeah, let's do that. Just trying to think what would be a good library to copy that from. Actually, yes. That looks about right. So this is where I get completely screwed up by not copying. This is the problem with copying and pasting, right? Do we require anything? I don't think we require anything, so I don't need that. Python is definitely that. That's that. So name is ngdb. The description is I'm just going to copy it out there rather than get fancy. Okay. Go to you. What am I after? I'm after that. Let's go through this one step at a time. Yeah. No. Yes? No. What? I used GPL3 for that, didn't I? Yeah. Yes, I did. Okay. Keywords. That. Oops. Non-guided readers all one. License is that. Right, I'm going to nuke those. Copy those. Bring those over there. There we go. Going to support 11 and 12 now. Okay, I think that's it. ngdb, it's got a readme. The readme is markdown. The URL is that. I am the author. It's got a license file. Got some keywords. Right. I don't think I've actually got the discussions open, but I'll do that at some point. Okay. I think we're good. I think we're good. So I'll nuke that. This is actually my shocked face that worked. Like, I was expecting that I would have missed something. Really was expecting to have missed something. Okay. I realise that setup.cfg is a bit old hat now as well. but I'll get around to using whatever the really modern stuff is soon. I'll start looking into that. Trying to remember what's the big popular thing that everyone's latching onto now. I know Darren has used it for Rich Pixels. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, there's a package that, application, tool, whatever, that seems to be kind of popular at the moment that does everything. Can't remember what it's called, but I want to look into it because it does sound super useful. Right. I kind of think that that's everything sort of done. What happens if I... Oh, I think I just realised I didn't copy over, or I didn't take into account the makefile targets for doing the documentation, did I? Dull. I should. Let's just have a look there for a minute. Lost my makefile. There it is. That was what I was looking for. So first things first, I'm going to want nkdocs. So I got one sort of empty target for doing the docs. Don't even know if this is going to work. Oh. Wit. Oh. Ha. Should read my own stuff, shouldn't I? Right, okay. Let's see if this actually does. I literally can't remember what I did. Literally can't remember what I did documentation wise. Oh, okay, so at the moment, yeah, I've only got the I've only got a couple of pages, an intro page and how to install it in that. So I do need to set up nkdoc strings and stuff like that, but that's okay. That's the key stuff. So that's working. Cool. So that needs more work. That needs more work. Okay. So that's it, sort of dragged kicking and screaming into 2024. I would say. Oh. Yeah, it worked. Okay, cool. I need to find a Norton guide file. Hang on a second. Let me just... just on a different window for a moment while I go looking for one. What would be a good one? work. Let's see if this works. Can't remember anything about this now. Credits. Yes, it works. Okay. It works. Hang on. Not first. Let's go to first. And then is there something for read? Close. I should read my own docs, right? Is open. Oh, load. There we go. Hey, okay, so there's an example of, well, it's not quite working, but there's an example of the rich markup. I think this was all supposed to be all the same colour. Oh, it could be that actually there was some hard-coded colours in the Blinker Norton Guide. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, it's all still working. No bit rot. That's good. Let's look for another interesting just drag this over. I shall be back in a moment. Go. Yes, it's working. It is working. Skip, yeah. Load. Whoa, look at this. Oh, that's it. So there's no default background color when you're working in a rich console. The way I did the underlying protocol on this, but if there's any hard-coded colors, they are used. Oh, it's kind of cool seeing this working again. Look at this, menus with drop shadows and all that kind of stuff. Good old drop shadows. I miss drop shadows. So the plan is, this code works. So the plan is to, now this is kind of tidied up. The code was working anyway, but now this is tidied up. At some point in the next week or so, I'd like to start work on a full screen. Oh, hey Raoul. What am I doing? I'm mucking about with a library that I wrote in Python about 3 years ago, which is actually an implementation of a thing that I've written many times over the years, since sort of like the mid-1990s or whatever. And that's a library for reading Norton Guide database files. So just to recap what I was saying at the start, back in the late 1980s, one popular way of distributing hypertext help or easy to access help was using Norton Guide database files, which were used on DOS, MS-DOS and everything. Hey there. Oh, I'm not even going to, you will forgive me, I'm not even going to try and pronounce your name because, I wouldn't know how to read that, so I'm not going to butcher your name. But thank you for saying it's a great stream. It's really kind of you to say so. These Norton Guide database files were like a very early hypertext help system that was common on DOS. It was very popular with people who programmed with a programming language called Clipper. you can still find, there's actually a free software version of Clipper that has been going for about 25 years now, which is horrific to actually say, called Harbour, and there's a derivative of it called X Harbour. And so anyway, the documentation for this was shipped as Norton Guide files. So back in the 1990s, I wrote a Norton Guide reader for Linux, I wrote a Norton Guide reader for OS2, I wrote a Norton Guide reader for Windows. In fact, I did that twice. Since then, I've written a Norton Guide reader for Emacs. No, I'm not even kidding. Actually, I can probably do that here, can I? If I remember what it's called. What did I call it? EG. There we go. And I want to open... There we go. So it's kind of... if I open... Yeah, there. It's a bit, old-fashioned in how it works, but it's like literally a, it's like a hypertext help system and everything. So yeah, I wrote this version for Emacs, for example. So what I have is this library that I wrote for Python about 2-3 years ago for reading these files, because they're in a very, very, very straightforward binary format. I actually, if I go here, I've always had the documentation for the file format on my website. It's fairly straightforward. It's not that tricky a format to work with, and you'll probably know and understand if you're learning a new language or a new programming environment or whatever. It's nice to have a problem that you know and you know how to solve, and you write it again and again and again to just like try things out. And so a Norton Guide reader or like a Norton Guide reading library has been one of those things that I've rewritten in different languages lots over the years, because it's just a great way of, the problem, you don't have to think about what it is you're programming. You concentrate on learning the language, learning the environment, and you have a problem to solve. So yeah, this library I wrote for Python about 3 years ago, whatever, and it's just kind of sat there not doing an awful lot. And I just wanted to give it a tidy up. The code was looking a bit ropey. It needed black running over it. I had a different way of writing Python code back then. I've just been refreshing the way that the library is packaged and things like that. And then my plan over the next couple of weeks or whatever is to actually use Textual, which is, if you don't know it, you may or may not know it, is this library, which can be used for building terminal-based applications. It's until very, very recently I was employed on working on this. That has kind of come to an end, but it's still going as a free software project and everything. An open source project. You can do cool things like, it's not working. I'll have to let Will know. If the servers are up on the back end, you can even actually run versions of the programs in the browser as well, but they're not working at the moment, it seems. So my plan is to do a terminal-based Norton Guide reader, which you'll be able to manage all your Norton Guides and read them and all that kind of stuff, based on Textual and then based on this library that I did. So yeah, that's a really long-winded way of saying what I'm up to. But yeah, I just wanted to tidy up the code and everything before I start using it again. It was working. The code was working. I just wanted to, as I say, refresh the packaging and stuff like that. Update the makefile, use newer stuff and everything. And yeah, I've gone through and just reformatted the code so it's using black, so it uses all the usual PEP 8 layout styles and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's going to pick up on the camera, but someone's car alarm's going off outside. That's slightly distracting. Oh, there we go, it stopped. Anyway, I think, what time is it? Yeah, it's 20 to 7 in the evening for me. I think I've deserved my dinner, so I'm going to wrap this up here. And I've lost my cursor. There it is. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up here and go and get my dinner. Well, thanks for dropping by and saying hello and everything. I was just mucking about with this code. I'll probably be back in a couple of days or so. I got a busy couple of days ahead of me now. Fun things, fun busy, not problematic busy or anything like that. But I will come back and muck around on this. I'll probably actually tidy it up for an actual release and push out a release of the Python package index, assuming that they're accepting new releases at the moment. I know I think they were closed to new users and new packages just because there was some malware issues. Again, they were getting attacked by people trying to spread dodgy software. Hopefully you can push out new versions of packages that are already up there. So yeah, I'll see about that. But I'll push out a new version of this and then probably start tinkering with the actual Norton Guide Reader proper. That's going to be quite interesting because it'll involve using the Line API in Textual. So it'll be writing 2 or 3 actual widgets, textual widgets that will make up the core of the application for laying out the actual entries, the short entries, long entries, and that. The menus are going to be interesting because there's no drop-down menus or anything like that in Textual, at least not at the moment. But there are other ways of doing things. Probably do it with a tree control or something like that. Probably makes more sense these days. Anyway, I'm going to head off. So I can see there's a couple of people watching at the moment. So thanks for being there and watching some old dude just bang on his keyboard and talk to himself. It's always really kind. And wherever you are, whatever time it is, I'm guessing it's still Saturday, just wherever everyone is. Have a good weekend and everything, and maybe I'll see you again at some point in the future. So catch y'all later. Bye.